If you're done with the fluff and ready to execute on the how, then visit shebuiltsuccess.com for the tools you need. It's time to push go and dive into real strategies, genuine understanding, and concrete steps to create both more in business and life. Head on over to shebuiltsuccess.com for access to exclusive downloads, resources, and bonuses. Because moving boldly forward is not just a destination, it's a multi-layered journey. Let's grow and build your success together. What's it like when you're in your 30s and 40s and you find yourself looking for friendships? No, not the surface level friendships, but the true, let me bawl my eyes out, let me turn it up, let me have a good time, let me laugh, let me be me and let my hair down. Those kinds of friendships. What does that look like? In this episode, we're going to be talking about what friendships look like in community in your 30s and 40s. So grab your cup, grab your notebook, let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of She Built Success. I'm your host, Claudia. So, what about community in your 30s or 40s? Is it just me, and it might be, that thinks that finding your community once you're in your 30s or 40s is a bit of a task? I often joke with my kids and say, I don't have no friends. I joke with my friends and say, I don't have no friends. And I say it tongue in cheek, but in all actuality, where is the community? I'm not talking about going to the club. I'm too old for that, even though I'm not old. I'm not talking about staying out late at bars because that's not my jam either. I'm talking about friendship, true friendship that keeps you in check. I call it your cross-check friend. Friendships that they're willing to pray for you and go to bat for you. And you don't even have to say there's something wrong. I'm talking about friends that help balance your life. And no, I don't believe in balance, but I believe friendships can bring about a balance. But where is that? It's like, I feel like once you get in your 30s, once you get in your 40s, it's like a new level is unlocked. And you may have childhood friends. You may have friends that you met in college or your 20s or even in your 30s. But who are you really comfortable with? So today I actually want to talk about that. Building a community in your 30s and 40s of friends that are truly friends and there for you. Now, I myself am on a journey to continue to build out my friendships in my 40s because it's a different level. There's different issues, there's different desires, there's different goals, there's dreams, there's aspirations. Like those kinds of friends that I can feel comfortable with, that I trust talking to, and knowing that they're not going to go talk to so-and-so about what you've talked about. That's what I'm talking about. Those friends that are willing to check in on you just because. Those friends that are willing to step in and say, hey, how's your business going? And it's not just a watered down question. It truly is, how can we help you with your business growth? Where are those friends? Where's the friendship that when you're up late at night or 3 a.m. in my case, and your brain just won't shut off because for whatever reason, at 3 a.m., my brain thinks it's a good time to start thinking. Where are those friends? Who can I text at 3 a.m. that I'm not waking up? Which one of my friends can I do that with? Right now, none. And so I feel like in this new era or level of what is now my 40s, I'm missing that. I felt like in my 30s, I was missing that. And yes, I do have friends. So I know I joke and say I don't, but I do have friends. I do have people that I can call on. But there's this level or this yearning of wanting more out of a friendship, more expectation. So the question is, why was I so reserved in having those friends? Truth be told, it's because of disappointment. I didn't want to be disappointed. I held high expectations and I expect things I try to communicate my expectations. But it really is the fact that it's missing. Like, why can't I just be comfortable with sometimes there's some disappointment? I have been thinking lately about what that looks like for me. And it may be the case for you. Maybe you're a little bit more guarded. Maybe you consider yourself introverted. Hell, maybe you consider yourself extroverted. It doesn't matter. It's that level of disappointment, like disappointment in a person because they weren't there when you would need them to be, or because you know you're there for them, but it's not reciprocated. So for me, it's overcoming that feeling of disappointment, being comfortable, because I have no issues striking up a conversation. I have no issues, having the discussions or the cross checks. I have no issues with any of that. I have no issues praying for you. I have no issues talking about business and strategy because that is my jam. But finding that friend, and that friend might not be everything, sharing my vision, right? They might not be everything. You might have a friend for all, a friend for some, a friend for each. And I'm going to go over it as we continue to unwrap this conversation of community or friendships in your 30s and 40s. But there are 5 types that I've kind of been hinting at in this conversation. And for me, having or starting those type of friendships, my reservation I've found has been hinged on that disappointment. But I understand that connection is needed. I understand that being able to share the wins, the losses, the ups, the downs is needed. And I understand that not every friend fits every mold, right? For me, it's now navigating what that looks like, how I come across. And it's not going to all these cheesy ass networking parties and being like, hi, I'm Claudia, and this is what I do. Like, that's so whack. Like, we can't do that. But it really is truly coming in and saying, hey, I see you're struggling here, or hey, can I help here? That's how I approach something. Or if I see that, I'm a very detailed person when it comes to just noticing others. Like, prime example, I can remember being on an elevator. Don't know anybody on an elevator from a can of paint. And I'm the first one to say, hey, y'all, how we crammed up in here like some sardines? And everybody on the elevator busted out laughing. Like, that was simple, but those are like the bridges to starting to get to know somebody. I wouldn't say get to know somebody, but just breaking the ice. How about that? Maybe that's a little bit easier. And so in my 40s, I'm not going out as much. I mean, you'll catch me at like my kid's volleyball game or a cheer comp. I ain't looking to be, cheersing it up with necessarily. That was a bad pun. But I'm not looking to be, for those of you listening, cheers like clink with the cheer moms. That's not my jam. And maybe it is, but right now it's not. But it's finding that community. The other part that I was thinking about, and it really was something that I understood for me getting close, is I didn't want to experience disappointment. I didn't want to pour into someone, because when I'm friends with somebody, I pour into. I'm not a taker. I'm much of a giver. I'm checking in on you and I'll make sure you're good, or I'll pray for you, even if you don't ask me to. But the thing that I had to be honest with myself beyond the disappointment is, what do I want in a friendship? What does that look like? And I'm still working out all the nuances for myself of what that looks like. But I know for sure there are 5 friend types that I'm looking for. And I challenge you to write down the types of friends that you're looking for. I'm going to give you my groupings, but write yours down. So I definitely know I want a friend that prays for me. That's unequivocally something that I want. And yes, I get that in my partner, but I'm talking about outside of that. I want a friend that'll check in on me. Somebody who, and not like, these kids are driving me batshit crazy, check in, but like, dude, are you okay? Because there's been times for me where I'm a very driven, motivated person, but when I get frustrated, I get frustrated. Or if it's not going fast enough, it's not going fast enough. And just to have a friend to say, hey, dude, are you good? I'm just checking in. I can come over for a hot second if you need me to. Do you need a sanity check? Those kind of things. So the check-in friend is the other one that I'm looking at. The third one that I was looking at was my business growth friend. So they don't necessarily have to be or own their own business. It's cool because there's some relatability there, but it really is just, hey, how's business going? And it's not a watered down version of how business is going. It really is seeking to understand, is there something that you just need a sounding board sometimes? Other times it's like business growth. It's okay, I'm at this level and you're also at this level. How can we work together, or how can we brainstorm together on what we need to do to get there? So like business growth in that sense. So I understand some of it could be they're potentially in business, or in some of it they might not be. And then the fourth friend is one that I can share my vision with. And again, I have a partner and we talk everything. Nothing's off limits. So that is there. But I'm talking about outside of that, like a friend who is just as excited about their own vision as I am about mine. And we can talk about it without like the feeling of competition, or I don't know, like I don't attract the catty type women, or men for that matter. I don't attract them, but I feel like sometimes there's this undercurrent of, oh, well, she thinks she's doing all this. And it's like, dude, no, I don't. I'm just living my best life, like trying to get it going. And so I'm looking for a friendship where I can share my vision, and there's like a challenge somewhat in there, and not a challenge like your vision's wrong or it's too audacious or anything like that. No, but just, I hear you. I genuinely hear what you're saying. And we riff or we vibe off of each other. One of the reasons why this platform is She Built Success was created was to talk about stuff like that. Like, we're going to have those conversations. We're going to talk about what business growth looked like. We're going to pray sometimes. We're going to talk about, hey, are you good? Like, check in, hit me up in the DMs, at me, like, and let's see if we're good. Like, I'm okay with that. But the final friend is one that cross-checks. And I found that, I think they call me like an alpha female. I think that's the modern term. I just say I push go on stuff. But a friend that I call it cross-checks. So they're able to challenge you. Like, I don't need somebody to keep saying, yeah, that's good. Like, no, thank you. No, I need you to be like, dude, that is not a good idea, and here's why. Now, if you're going to come at me with that's not a good idea, I need you to be ready to come at me with don't just randomly say that's not a good idea, because I'm going to just shoot it down. But I need a cross-check friend, because I'll cross-check you if I need to cross-check you. That's me. And I feel like for me, I fit all those buckets in some degrees, but I don't have anyone that fits those type of buckets for me. So those are my 5 friend types. So we have the check-in friend, the praying friend, the business growth friend, the vision sharing friend, and the cross-check friend. I want to know what your 5 or 4 or whatever number you come up with friend types are. And you may have them. Are they childhood? I can't think of any childhood friends that I have, because for me, I'm from a military family, and here's part of the reason why the disappointment happened. So y'all gonna roll with me on this, because I am not an ABCDE speaker or talk or presenter. When I think, it's as things come to mind. And sometimes you get A through C. Sometimes you get A, C, and B. Today is one of those days you get an ACB. So we're back to why disappointment is a thing for me. As I said, I was in a military family. And while we didn't travel a whole lot, up until about kindergarten for me, we were upstate New York for a year or two when I was little. I remember all the snow, and you make friends. And I remember starting karate, and I remember doing Girl Scouts in upstate New York. And then I remember moving to Maryland. And I remember in first grade, I remember this vividly. I'm not going to say her name, because I actually Googled her. Her name is still the same, so I'm not going to say her name. But we were best friends in first grade. And kindergarten, I was in one school. First grade was our first time back in Maryland. And this particular friend, she also was in a military family. I was in a vicinity where it was a lot of military families. And so I remember first grade, we were best friends, and we would talk to the teacher. We got our A's, and we'd be excited. And you're first grade, you're like, what, 6? So we had our little chatty moments. We'd be on the playground. It was so much fun. And I was like, yes, this is what a best friend is like. And it was cool. That is what I can remember as my first best friend. And then I remember at the end of the school year, she was like, yeah, I believe it was her dad was in the military. And she's like, yeah, we're moving to, I forget where they're moving to, but they're moving to another location. I was like, well, shit, I don't have a best friend no more. I didn't like that feeling. That was a disappointment. Like you pour into, and you have your conversations. Yes, they're on the playground in between class, but whatever. I'm 6. It was a best friend. But there was a disappointment there. And then we fast forward to what I can remember as 5th grade, I believe. Yes, 4th and 5th grade. And I had a best friend. And then her family was not in the military. But what ended up happening was her family actually just moved out of the area altogether. And we were best friends. We had sleepovers. She came over my house. I came over her house. One of the things I remember, she had a birthday party one time. And she had, her mom liked to do jokes. Her mom liked to do jokes. Shh, I'm going to tell the joke. Her mom liked to do jokes. And so for her birthday, she got her this really big box. Like, think of like a big old obnoxious Amazon box these days. She got her this big old box. And best friend was totally excited about this thing. Her mom thought it was a good idea to put boxes within more boxes. Like, when she got to the present, it was like a necklace or something, or a charm, or it was something like a piece of jewelry. But when I say she was going through mazes of boxes, if that was not the funniest thing, and I remember that, and those kind of memories as best friends, we used to joke about that. Like, you remember when your mom had you going through that maze of boxes? Like, that was fun. Only to find out at the end of the school year, she has to leave. And we were friends for how long? So from 2nd grade to 5th grade. So while that seems like a short period, again, elementary school. So it felt like a lifetime. But we cultivated a friendship there. And I can remember saying, I like this boy. And she would come and she liked this. But then she was gone. And we did try to stay in touch. But being far, there weren't cell phones back then. It was a straight up landline, y'all. Being that far, so we ended up losing touch. And so that was elementary school. I did have a best friend in 6th grade through high school. But again, another moment where there was just, we grew apart. We went separate ways. I went to college. She started a family. And so it was just like disappointment after disappointment. So there was some apprehension in, I guess, restarting friendship somewhere in there. I don't know. Roll with me on this because I feel like it. This is me self-diagnosing. I don't know what it really means, but I just know that I was never like pressed to be like, okay, let me go find some more friends. That was never my MO. And so now in my 40s, I'm like, I kind of feel like I need more friends. And I'm not saying I need a whole group of people, but those 5 are cool. And if those 5 happen to be rolled up and a couple rolled up into one person, I'm okay with that too. But that's where I find myself right now. The friendship, while disappointment for me was like my undercurrent, and I recognized that was for me an undercurrent and something that carried with me into adulthood. Friendship's not one-sided. Like, I shouldn't have to be the one to sit there and call you every time and see how you're doing. I shouldn't have to be the one to always initiate a conversation. That's one-sided. It should be a give and a take. Like, sometimes you get busy, life happens, shit happens. I know, trust me. But having someone that you can rely on and be comfortable with and be fully and completely you with, which I like to think, bold move besties, that you guys are able to be transparent just as I'm being fully open with you. But having that is part of what makes to me, a holistic friendship. And the responsibility is on both parties to be sure to reciprocate. It's just like a relationship. Like if you have a significant other or partner, like, dude, if you're ignoring them, that's going to suck. And it's going to show in your relationship and it might not last that long. Like, I don't want a friendship like that. I want a friendship where we're there for each other and we're listening to one another and we cry sometimes and we turn up sometimes. Cause y'all, bourbon is a thing over here. Like, that's what I want. Like for me, She Built Success is about cultivating that community, whether it's in friendships or relationships, bringing the complete you to the table. She Built Success is about to get a silver sphere. And if you don't know what that is, hit me up in the DMs and I will let you know. But the folks here, they know what that's about. We're about to get the silver sphere. So I challenge you to look at your 5 friend types or whatever number you come up with. Cultivate that friendship. Reach out. Hell, it might be somebody from your past that you haven't talked to in a while for whatever reason. Life happens. But let that friendship thrive. Continue to seek them out. And if y'all are interested in becoming friends with me, hit me up in the DMs and we can make it happen. For now, this is Claudia. You're listening to She Built Success, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Find your friends, build your community. Deuces.